Alright, back out in the carport garage today. I put the Camaro in here. I'm changing the little feed line that broke. I don't know how that got a hole in it. I put it in the garbage over there. It's got a little small pinhole in it. I don't even know how that happened, but I put the other one on and I wire limbed it. It's a little bit longer. It's going to fit a little bit better. But something else I'm also doing is I'm pulling all the stock lines off of it. We're going to go ahead and put the surge tank in it with the dual pumps because I asked on one of those LS swap pages and everybody says I need more pump, which is odd because the calculators say that's plenty of pump. But if you go to Walboro's website, or however you pronounce that, it actually says that on turbo applications on E85, I think they said the limit of that pump was 650, something like that, wheel. Maybe it was 700.
Just interrupt here for a second. So if you look at this, it says delivered unparalleled performance and OEM reliability. Walboro's brand new 525 liter per hour fuel pump supports up to 700 flywheel horsepower with forced induction and 900 horsepower naturally aspirated. And that may be even for gasoline. And 700 crank horsepower is only about 575 wheel. So we're definitely probably tickling that for sure. So that may be the issue.
Either way, that's almost, I don't think we're there, but I don't know. Either way, it's either the lines or the pump. So we're just going to put both pumps in it. And that surge tank with a 10 AN feed and a 8 return. I'm having a hard time. I was trying to pull that line out of that hole over there where they come up on these F bodies and I can't get it to pull out. So been messing with that. But I got the new oil feed on. I don't got it bolted up, but it's up here. It's bolted down there at the bottom. But on that one right there, it's supposed to rain today, so I covered it up. I got the idle perfect. Now, I used to, before, you didn't have to pump the throttle to get it to start, but to get the idle mixture screws where it'll idle at a decent AFR, you actually have to pump the carburetor a couple times, but it still starts right up. You just got to pump it. Used to, you didn't have to pump the carburetor. Now you have to pump it. And I got the front jets where the cruise is around low 13s. I just I need to do some hits on it and adjust the rear jets as needed, and that should be it for that one. That one should be ready. Christopher bought a steering rack, and it's got a rear end leak. 4 9-inch problems at the seal on the axles. So we're going to try some of that Permatex, that real good Permatex stuff on the seal. We're going to pull the axles out, clean it, the surface area real good, and stick those in. We'll do that when Chris gets here, but I am going to make a pull later on that. But this weekend, the main thing is, that one's pretty much ready. The main thing this weekend is to get this one switched over so we can both race to their potential. And I think I'm going to change them wastegate springs so I can turn the boost up on this one too. I'm mainly going to use this one for index, but I think I might try a heads up race next weekend if it don't rain. So generally, stock on these cars, this goes way back there and hooks to the back of the fuel rail and then loops around. I already pulled this grommet out. And then it goes down in here. That's your feed, your return, and the vent for the charcoal canister back in the fender for the emissions stuff, which that's been unhooked forever. It's actually cut right there. Then it goes down, it goes straight down. I don't know how good y'all can see this, but it comes out right here. There's this little rail. It's clipped into those. I thought I could just pull that right out. But it is not pulling out. But anyway. They loop around here, they go through this hole, and then they come up here. And there's some quick connects right here that it unhooks from. And then your brake line comes in, and this was over this way, holding all three of them. And your brake line goes down with all of it, and it goes back over towards the transmission and down the inside of the transmission tunnel. So I'm gonna work on getting these lines out. I'm probably gonna have to cut them. I really didn't want to cut them just because maybe I could sell them, or who knows if I wanted to put the car back stock or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna fight with this. Alright, so that jack up piece thing has two 10mm bolts in it. Took it out. That looks like that's going to do it. Just have to take this plastic piece off and out. See where it's all clipped in there. Take that off and it should slide right out. Alright, pop that plastic piece out. Like that. And then this one right here curved up, and this one's got a little body clip things. Pulled that out. That should do it. You should be able to pull those out from the, I'm going to try to pull it out from the top. That kind of sucked though, because all that stuff fell out of there. There you go. Pulled right out the top. Had to pull a little bit, but it came out. Yeah, that's bigger than I thought it would be, actually. Now, to get it up, I'm going to jack the rear end up and put it on blocks too, and clean this mess up, because I don't feel like wallowing around in a bunch of dirt. But I'm going to take it off, jack it up, take it off up by the transmission tunnel. Alright, we're up in the air. I'm just going to take these little middle tab things off all the way down through there. Just be careful with the brake line. Alright, and this cubby hole back by the rear driver's side tire is your fuel filter. This has got quick connect on this end and screwed on that end, but we should be able to take the feed line out now from up here. Alright. The feed line from the filter up came out all by itself. And up here, the vent line changes into a rubber line. And it just has those squeeze clamps on it. And then the return line, or the feed line, or vent line, yeah. And this is the feed line. This one. With the wire loom on it. That one goes up and connects at the tank. But the return line, it's got a quick connect right there. And we can just take that quick connect out. You just squeeze on the ends of these kind. You just squeeze on each end of the plastic and pull. And they come out. Usually. Then we can go ahead and, I'm having to snake it around because there's a bindy up in here. Ta-da. Alright, there's all the gas lines. That's just the brake line left. Now this one, I go up and quick connect at the tank, and then we can take it out up there. And then this one, which that's the feed line that hooked to the back of the filter. And this is the return line. There's the quick connect for it. And then it quick connects at the tank. And that's pretty much it for taking out the fuel lines. And if y'all ever wonder what this other stuff is up in here, I must have got something on my leg. Anyway, that's the fuel pump relay. This is my hot wire. The Racetronics hot wire kit. I ran that one. And that's the relay for your sending unit. There's the thing for the sending unit. I think it's a relay. But yeah, that's it. Take the quick connects off at the pump itself, and these will pull right out. Also went ahead and unplugged the sending unit while I was down here, because we're going to take the sending unit out of the tank, because the 525 in there is what I want to put in the surge tank. And I'm going to put the stock, well, not stock, but the 450 pump I had in there before. And then I bought another 450 to go with the 525 in the surge tank. So that'd be 975 total with both pumps on. Sure, I went over this before, but take your sending unit out. You stick these 5 bolts out and it pulls right out. Now, if you don't unhook your lines from underneath the car, you got to unhook them here, and again, you just squeeze those clips in and that should push right off. And then actually, where we unhooked it from under the car, can pull right out, or should. And we'll pull it out from underneath the car, probably easier. But anyway, if you don't have the trapdoor cut, you have to drop the, this should come out too, where we unplugged it. But if you don't have the trapdoor cut and you don't want to cut it, you got to drop the tank, which is just 2 straps and 4 bolts. Oh yeah, and your filler neck. But if you have full exhaust, you're probably gonna have to cut your exhaust to get the tank out, and you have to drop the rear end down a little bit. Usually you can just let the rear end hang and it'll clear it, but definitely probably got to do something with your full exhaust to get it past the full exhaust. I had to cut mine to get the tank out before, but anyway.
And if you ever cut a trapdoor in these cars, I did it with an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel. But be very, very, very careful, because if you cut into the tank, it might go boom.
I'm going to take that pump out. That's the 525. Put this old 450 I had back in there. And that 525 is going to go in the surge tank. Alright, 450 liter prior pumps back on it. 525 sitting on the bench to go in the surge tank. And then I bent these lines up and around because I'm going to put the surge tank in the trunk. And I'm just going to bring these up and around the top. I got quick connect fittings to AN fittings coming in the mail, and those are just, it's got a 45, so to go to the trunk. And when you bend those, they're 5/16 and 3/8. This is 3/8 side. When you flip it around, that's what it was on first. I bent the 5/16 first, flip it around. Did the 3/8, but make sure you use one of these, because if you don't, you'll surely break them, put a hole in them lines or break them or something. But you put this thing back on, make sure your rubber seals down here, and make sure this thing fell off somehow. Don't even ask me how that's possible that it did that. That goes on right there, like that. Alright, let's stab it in the tank and make sure these go over the top rather than down here. Come up over the top. When you put that thing back in, make sure you seat your rubber seal before you set down in there on that inner edge. And there is some maneuvering and wiggling you got to do to get that sending unit arm down in the hole and the pump down in that little plastic hole they've put in there. But yeah, probably bent that up a little too far, but that's gonna work. Once you get your lines and everything hooked up, you definitely, and everything plugged back in, you definitely want to cycle the key on at this point and make sure that your sending unit is reading the fuel level correctly. I'm not going to do that because I still got to run all new lines. But especially like if you had to drop the tank, definitely check your sending unit first, because sometimes that lever gets lodged in there and you won't read your gas level. But anyway, now to figure out how I'm I'm gonna run the 10 AN from the trunk to the front of the car. The rain's coming down now. But anyway, I'm gonna run it right through that grommet, and I'll cut that grommet out and put it around it. And then the 8 AN, I'm just gonna go back through where the stock lines went at. Now I'm gonna follow the path, those other lines I took out, the stock lines. But I'm gonna use bigger hold downs, them round rubber hold downs. I'm just gonna come up right here. I'll zip tie it to those fuel lines right there. But it's on this side of the steering shaft. And that steering shaft has a plastic guard on it, so it's just gonna point right there. Go to both fuel rows. But since I'm waiting on the 8 AM line, I want to go ahead and run that too before I put them loop things in there, whatever they're called. I'm waiting on the 8 AM line before I put all that up in there. And it should be here today, so we'll go ahead and put the 525 pump in here. Alright, 525 liter prior pumps in on channel 1. Pump 1. Right there. Now, to wire it in just like I did the last one, I'll cut these off, strip them, put some eyelets on them, and bolt them to here. There we go. The wires are connected. Well, this fuel pump sock fell off and it won't stay on. Now I don't want that falling down in the surge tank. Knowing my luck, would get that flat side up against the suction somehow. So I'm gonna go get another one of those. Well, unfortunately I couldn't find the sock, so I put that one on there, just back on there just for now, and I'll order one. But I got some nuts and bolts to screw that in the tank. I needed some more of these for those. And I got the quick connects. They go on the line, that's a 6 AN. I got the 6 AN line. So we can run the tank to the surge tank. I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, and that's what I got. Them quick connect fittings to AN lines. And boom. I didn't exactly run these to what they say. That says overflow. And that one says return. But it doesn't matter, because these three go to the same, they go in the same place. So that's going to be that's the feed, that's the return for the fuel tank, and this is going to be the return off the motor, and these two are going to be feed this big 10 AN line right here. I got these splitter pieces. It's 8 AN on this side, 10 AN on that side. So they'll feed into this and come out that side. But the 8 AN line didn't show up today, so it's kind of stuck in the water now. Not much else we can do. I was wanting to run that 8 AN under the car and then go ahead and plumb those in. And I need some, you know what, I think I got some 8 AN. A little. Yeah, I had a few feet laying around. That'll get us from the surge to the 10 AN anyway. Alright, there's what I got so far. Pump 1, pump 2, merge into this thing and down that 10 AN. Hopefully none of this leaks. They don't leave you a lot of room to tighten up fittings down here, especially with everything so close. But this is going to be the 8 return from the motor. I'm just going to send that right through there, down there where the factory lines went, where the factory fuel lines went, and then it'll meet up with this one. This one was too big to fit down in there, which I guess I could have ran these two down there and then did this, but oh well. I was going to put the fuel filter here, but there wasn't enough room, so I guess I'll put that down there on a stock location. When you put the carpet in here, all you're going to see is this part. Won't be a big deal. I guess I can go ahead and I'm waiting on the AN line, 8 AN lines and fitting, but I can go ahead and drill and bolt that down. And then one of those splitters I'm going to use up front, like this 10AN comes out here, and then I'll do a splitter there and pretty much go into the front of both fuel rails. And then it'll go to the back, and then I'm going to have 8AN coming out of the back, and then with 80 degrees coming back forward, and I'm going to put the regulator right in the middle of the intake, and 290s going into each side of the regulator here, and then out the bottom I'll have an 8AN for the return. That's how I'm going to do it. And then I got a wiring block, so I'm going to run a 10 gauge wire off of this battery block. That goes to the battery positive. I've got it unhooked. Anytime you're doing wiring or stuff like that, you want to unhook the battery. The main reason I unhooked that is because the old drain line goes down by the back of the alternator, and that's a hot wire. I don't want to hit that on that and burn another hole in my drain line. But anyway, I'm going to go 10 gauge off of this. I'm going to go back inside the cab, under the kick panel there, under all that, like I had my nitrous line ran, and the bottle was in the trunk and the relays. And I'm going to mount a power block back here, and I'm going to have two relays, a relay for pump 1 and a relay for pump 2, and I'm going to run 12 AN lines and 30 amp relay. And then I'm going to actually put these pumps, I'm going to put both these pumps on a switch, but one of them I'm going to have the ground relay grounded in such a way with a Hobbs switch that it don't come on till about 4 pounds of boost. But yeah, but I've already got a switch in the car for the bottle heater right down there. Yeah, right there. It's still hooked up, and the wire is actually still over there somewhere. I gotta find it. I cut it when I took the nitrous out, but I'm going to use that wire to power the relays to turn both pumps on. But again, I'll have the relay grounded through a Hobbs switch on pump 2, so it don't come on till about 4 pounds of boost. Buy them Hobbs switches that'll ground out at 4 pounds, or well, however many pounds you want to ground out at. But I'm going to get a 4 pound one, and whenever the boost hits 4 pounds, it'll ground the relay out, which the relay will turn the second pump on. And that's how that's going to go, and it'll stay on the 525 pump and the 450 pump in the tank. But that's how I'm going to wire it all in. I'll probably make a video of the wiring, but it's going to be part 1. There's probably going to be 3 parts to this. But y'all like and subscribe. I'm going to finish this video. Y'all have a great day. Test drive the trans. I wanted to do this and get as far as I could on this, and then I wanted to test drive the Trans Am to see where it was at wide open throttle with them rear jets, but it won't stop raining. It's raining right now. It's barely raining, but it pours, and then and really the sky is kind of bright. It's not really dark, but it pours and then it stops. It pours and it stops, but it doesn't. Yeah, it's still sprinkling. See? Not much. But anyway, can't do that. Gotta save that for another day.